Good evening, class. My name is Kevin Squarzon. I'm going to be doing a presentation on the quality of good character. A lot of us may ask, what does character actually mean? Character is a key factor that can shape the individual and their impact to others' lives. Character is not only about how we act in public, but also on our internal values, our principles, and behaviors. All those will lead to having good decisions. In this presentation, we'll cover what makes strong character, the application of character in a coaching role, and the importance of high quality character for fostering great relationships. Now, continuing on what is great character. Character can be both mental and moral qualities that are distinctive to each individual. Good character demonstrates traits such as kindness, accountability, and courage. To have a good character means to always incorporate good values, morals, which are built through strong relationships. When we have good relationships, whether we're an athletic director role, coaching role, teaching role, those base relationships that we build are what's going to have positive influence on those that we work with, our students, our student athletes, admin, staff, doesn't matter who we're with. Once we have those strong relationships and they know that our character is intact, those are what we can look forward to when we continue to grow and establish those stronger relationships. My example that I chose as far as who I've researched and came up when I saw what is the example of good character was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. A lot of us may know Kareem Abdul-Jabbar from just the basketball player, being a Hall of Famer. He went to the University of UCLA. And later went on to play for the Lakers for 10 plus years. He's a Hall of Famer, like I said, famously known for the sky hook, a lot of things that a lot of people may know, but I personally chose him as a good example of character because of the impact that he had off the court. In the 1960s and 70s, Kareem used his platform to stand up against social justice, civil rights, and equality. This was part of the civil rights movement, in the 1960s and 70s. Another thing that stood out was that he never really compromised his beliefs. I know a lot of us, some of us may be Christian, Adventist. There's so many religions that we are now, and it's a lot harder to kind of fully understand the importance of, sometimes being scared to pray or to want to do things like that, or to want to show that we believe in God or whatever we may believe in. But one thing that stood out with Kareem is that he never compromised his beliefs, regardless of the backlash and harsh criticisms, whatever it was, especially back in the day when it was a lot harder. He won 6 championships. Like I said, a lot of people may know just him for his basketball accolades, but it was his humility, his professionalism, his work ethic, which really was what consisted for him to be such a big role model for the younger generation, and he still is. He still is a big role model for a lot of NBA players, a lot of people that look up into what it means to be, to give back to the community, what it means to have good character, and just, and one thing that really stood out as well is after retiring, he continued his advocacy for education, diversity, social justice. So he's been a big influence in the community just as long as he played in the NBA. So that was something that really stood out to me, and I really enjoyed kind of reading about him and getting to know, how he established his character beyond just, being a good teammate or being professional in his NBA role. Now, a lot of us, we may want to hold leadership roles, or we're coaching currently. For myself, I'm currently an athletic director for a high school, North Tampa Christian Academy here in Florida. And sometimes it can be hard, showing good character at all times and being able to be disciplined in certain things. Just there's a lot of work, a lot of stress, a lot of internal pressures, a lot of pressures that we put on ourselves most of the times, because the job is very demanding. It doesn't matter at whatever level, there's still a lot that goes into any type of leadership role, not just in athletics, but in any other job. So in coaching, when a coach has a strong character, it serves as he or she being a role model, which is leading by example, being able to build, an environment where there's trust, When athletes feel safe, that's one thing that I've noticed as well. When athletes feel safe and they're comfortable, they're motivated to perform. They're motivated to run through a wall for you. They're motivated to do all these things when you build a culture and an environment that is safe for them. Leadership in athletics does go beyond just the X's and O's. Obviously, everybody wants to win games. Everybody wants to make it far, but it's not just about that. It involves teaching. It involves the challenges of, teenagers, and depending on what age you're teaching or coaching or being an athletic director, there's a lot of challenges that comes with that. And the most important part is being able to help them reach their goals, being able to help them get to where they want to get to. Remembering the student is the first part. So it's always important to understand that they need to do what they need to do in the classroom to be able to play. You need to establish a culture and an environment that allows everybody to understand that it's bigger than just one thing, and that we're here for them not just because they're good at a sport. They need to understand that we're here for them because we care for them, and because we want to establish good character, good morals, good principles within their character, while also developing their athletic abilities, their mental state, and all those good things that come together as what a student athlete really is. The last point here on our coaching and leadership role in athletics is being an effective leader creates long-lasting relationships, as we just talked about. The impact that a coach with good character has transcends to shaping athletes to be better both on and off the field. Just like we just talked about, it's important for our athletes to understand that we want them to succeed just as much on the court or the field, whatever it may be, as it is when they leave. Not everybody becomes a professional athlete. Not everybody gets to play college ball. Not everybody gets to go to the NBA or whatever sport that they may be playing in. They need to understand that we care about them a lot more than just them being good at that sport. And that's really, really important. That's something that I've been learning more and more and more. Once you establish that relationship with, and they know that you're someone of good character, and you want to establish that in them, they will trust you more, and they will perform their best both in the classroom and on the court. Now, why does character matter? Character is the foundation of trust. Good character builds trust both in personal and professional relationships. Character influences decisions, shaping our choices, and no matter what the decisions may be. So it's important for us to show character, because when we show character, it helps us to kind of understand the importance of the decisions that we're making. The guides to success are integrity, responsibility, and respect, contributing to long-term success and happiness both on and off the playing field. The core qualities of good character. There's 6 traits that define good character, and I want to go. I'm not too in depth, but I want to kind of touch each of them so we can get a good understanding of what they are. First one is integrity, which means honesty, consistency, and morals. The second one, responsibility, being able to be held accountable for one's actions. Third one, respect, treating others with kindness and humility. As we want to be treated, we should treat others as well. Fourth, courage, standing up for what is right. Sometimes it can be hard. We're scared to speak up sometimes, but it's always important to show courage and to stand up for what is right at the moment, and to let others know that this is why you're standing up for it. Fifth one, compassion, showing empathy and being understanding. Last one is fairness, treating people equally. So those are the 6 traits that define a good character, and they all come together in showing how important it is to build relationships. All those have the responsibility and the traits that enable us to be better people, to make better decisions, and to establish better relationships. How is a good culture cultivated? It starts with building character. Having self-reflection is our first point. Regularly being able to assess actions, behaviors, and overall motivations. Second one, setting high standards. Always strive to be great, holding not only ourselves, but others accountable. That's very important. We have to understand that whenever we have and working on having good character and building character, it's important to, if we're going to hold others accountable, to make sure that we can be held accountable for our actions too. That's very, very important in the stage of building our character and being better overall, one of the hardest things to learn how to develop and how to, that can be either in sports, in life, anything. Being consistent is very hard. Being consistent should be lining up your values, and that your values are always being shown and you're never compromising that. It doesn't matter what the situation may be. You always need to be consistent in the person that you are and the character that you're establishing within yourself, and how you are learning to learn more about yourself, and also how you're doing those relationships and how you're building those traits to become a better leader and role model and leading by example for the younger generation. Now, there are some challenges that come when you are developing your character. These can be from external pressures, internal struggles, consistency, as we just talked about. Examples of some external pressures can be the society. Society has a lot of expectations for us, and we tend to gravitate to that. Social media, our peer pressures, doing something that we know is wrong, but we're scared to say something. Social media right now is it's bad. If I'm being honest, I think that a lot of the pressure comes from comparing and being like, I need to do this in order to get to the D1 scholarship. I need to do this in order to feel seen, or whatever it may be. And I feel like it's hurting us, and it's hurting in the internal struggles because our self-esteem goes lower. We're having doubts. We're being scared, fear of failing, temptation to go out of our standard values. There's a lot of things, but it all comes back together when the consistency comes again. The word consistency. Being consistent means all the time, not just when something's hard or when something's easy, all the time. Ensuring that our character always remains intact regardless of the situation at hand is challenging, but we must do it in order to continue to build our character. Impact of good character. These are some long-term benefits that we can benefit from having a good character. Personal accomplishments, relationships again, and positive influence. Personal accomplishments can be strong character leads to stronger self-esteem, having a peace of mind, understanding that we're doing stuff and we're not just quitting halfway, we finish. That brings us a sense of, I finished something, I was good enough to do it, and I'm understanding that I can do it. Establishing those relationships, having a foundation of growth, establishing standards, setting boundaries with our athletes, with our staff, with our admin, with whoever it may be, all of that benefits us in the long term as we're establishing our good character. Last one is positive influence. Good character will always inspire others. We are looking to inspire others and leading by example through the values of good quality and character. These are very effective because it also plays a key factor in what we give to our community outreach, our community service, whatever we do with our teams. All that stuff is us wanting to build character with our community and showing our student athletes how we are able to give to others. And like going back, treating others as we would like to be treated. I love being in a Christian institution because it shows the values of who God is, and us showing others how we see God and how God is to be perceived. I chose two Bible verses that I like that reflect good character. The first one is 1 Corinthians 15:33. It says, "Do not be misled. Bad company corrupts good character." It's always important who we hang around with, what music we listen to, the things that we put in our head. Again, who our crowd is. It's important that we understand that that's a very important aspect on building our character and establishing a good character. The second passage I chose was Galatians 5, verses 22 and 23. It says, "But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, forbearance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such thing there is no law." It's important that we understand that all the characters that God had is what we are trying to mirror. And what we're trying to accomplish is having God's love and his characters in us so that others in the world can see how great God is and how hard it is to have good character, but ultimately how we're always trying to resemble him. For the book, I really enjoyed reading John C. Maxwell's book, Ethics 101. I feel like I got a lot of good insight off of it, and I was able to write down some of the quotes that he wrote about character. One of them is, "Character is the only way to sustain success. Good character improves every aspect of a person's life. Ethical people make good choices regardless of circumstances. I feel like those are very just raw and to the point quotes. I feel like it's important for us to understand character is a big part of who we are in our professional field, to our families, to our friends. In sports, it's important to always show good sportsmanship, understanding that win or lose, we always have a set standard of who we are as a person and what is to expect when somebody says, hey, I know Kevin, or hey, I know Johnny. It's important to understand that they're always going to be a good response, and they're always going to say he has good character and he has shown that he's a good person regardless of how hard the situation may be. I chose a video from Coach Carter. I put the link here in my PowerPoint. I feel like Coach Carter is a great movie to kind of understand the importance of building relationships and character and accountability and integrity and all those great traits that we've been talking about in our class. I feel this specific video that I chose shows Coach Carter talking about character and integrity when he canceled the season midway because the kids were acting up and they weren't doing their homework. I feel like he engraved a sense of work ethic, a sense of integrity, a sense of responsibility, a sense of good character in saying we're not going to play until we all understand what's important, and that word student is always first before the athlete. And he wanted them to become he didn't want them to be the norm. He didn't want them to go to jail or to end up in the streets or to end up not going to college. He wanted them to play basketball and to enjoy, to get scholarships, but he also wanted them to develop their character and to be able to graduate, to go to college, and to make something of their life, and not just be the norm that was in that movie, coming up and being raised in a tough environment. My conclusion comes everything that I've learned about what good character really is. Good character is defined by integrity, respect, responsibility, and compassion. Growing is a part of life, and the traits that we establish from the start mold us into who we become. When cultivating these traits, we set ourselves for great personal and professional success. Character isn't just about doing what is right when things are convenient or easy, but maintaining values and principles through all types of adversity is what will truly develop a good quality character. My references are here as well. I'll leave the link in the last slide. I really appreciate you taking the time to listen to my presentation and everything that I've learned on what it takes to establish good character, to continue to grow good character, and the importance of maintaining the same values, principles, and morals throughout our journey on becoming better athletes, better athletic directors, better coaches, better leaders. And it's always important to lead by example. And there's no better way than to do it than through understanding who God is and implementing the Bible and his core values into who we are as individuals. Thank you, and God bless.